Folks, our first on-demand workshop, How to Become a Coffee Consultant, is now available for you to learn at your own pace for just €50, and it comes with a certificate upon completion. Go to mapitforward.coffee/workshops or click the link in the show notes for more details. Support this podcast by supporting our sponsors. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and joining me today for episode 3 of our 5-part series is Rana from Edda Arabica in Beirut, Lebanon. And in this episode, first of all, just shout out to Map It Forward. The Daily Coffee Pro turns episode 900 today. So I just want to thank everybody for all the support that they've given us. This is really a milestone for us. And, you know, over the next 6 months, we're going to hit episode 1000. So thank you, everybody, so much. And Rana, thank you for being the perfect person to have on the podcast.
Thank you.
So
thank you, Lee, so much.
You're welcome. So today we're going to talk about specialty coffee in Lebanon. And like this series is about hyperinflation. And so it kind of messes with my head a little that when you were explaining in the first episode that $1,000 before all of this chaos happened, $1,000 was worth $1,000. And now it's reduced to like the equivalent of $15, right? That
Almost. It depends on the day.
It depends on the day, but that's some serious financial trauma that people are experiencing, right? So you would think that the idea of specialty coffee is something that people are just saying, can't do it. I just cannot afford that. So help us understand, like, what is the state of specialty coffee in Lebanon?
Yeah, I mean, really, still not everyone can afford specialty coffee in Lebanon, you know. But at the same time, still, I mean, there is the traditional way of roasting coffee around that's like still lingering, which somehow cover like the level of people who are interested in specialty coffee, you know, and not to say that it's not. I mean, really, I think Lebanon is still very far behind with specialty coffee in relation to other countries, right? But there are like some super interesting spaces that are opening or already previously had opened that are like shedding light to like what specialty is and all of that. So yeah, I mean, I'm interested. I'm curious as well because really, I think again, like I would say, as I mentioned previously as well, that you know, you have a lot of like people, expats coming from outside of Lebanon and visiting and being here and you know, so really like you have they're injecting the fresh dollars in the system, so which allows like, you know, like a specific level of purchase like power there to actually go towards specialty coffee, you know, and a lot of the spaces here in Lebanon, the specialty coffee shop, they're doing a great job and like you know, promoting and like, you know, talking about specialty coffee, so you have the awareness that is taking place at the moment as well, you know. But yeah, it's a challenge though for me as well. I mean, before it was more of a challenge because I had to secure the funds to start to, you know, with everything that's taking place in relation to the Lebanese and the lira. But now I already have the flow going on, and I already have like, you know, the dollars to be able to purchase the coffee, to be able to put it back in the system. But it's not like high, you know. It's good enough for me to kind of like maintain and you know, but again, for me, like it's a challenge, but I'm loving like the introduction of what I'm providing as a cafe to the locals, because they are excited about it, and for me this is like major, you know. And I'm so like intrigued by the age group of like who's interested in specialty coffee. Like I didn't expect. Yeah, I mean, you know, I didn't expect like, you know, I mean, a lot of like the people that love wine and cigars, they love specialty
Yeah.
coffee in Lebanon.
Yeah.
That kind of crowd, they love it. They just sit there and they kind of understand it without me talking a lot about it.
Yeah.
The whole like profile and the flavors and that's amazing.
So they
Um,
get into it. They want to have conversations with you about that stuff.
Okay, so when I set up Edda, when I did open a cafe, it wasn't just about like having the perfect cup. I chose a specific type of machine that allows like a discussion between the barista and the guest in at Edda. I wanted to like talk about specialty coffee, where we're getting the beans from, how is it roasted, what we're doing. Like I wanted everything to be transparent.
Mm-hmm.
It was so important for me that the community look at the barista in a very totally different way, because we still have the traditional, he's a barista, but for me this is a profession. This is like, it's really serious somehow.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's being, I mean, it's so hard being a barista, and I wanted that communication. So yes, if you come if you visit the space, you have a low bar where you can have a discussion about the coffee, and people are totally, engaging with that, and I'm so like I love it,
Yeah. You
and
can
some
see you're
days
very
I
passionate
have
about it.
yeah, some days I have, friends or whoever like contact me, like, can we like, experience this situation? I would have
Mm-hmm.
someone behind the bar, totally no problem. People love it,
Yeah. Wow. Tell me
Yeah.
something. How do you, um, like when we're talking about specialty coffee in Lebanon, what kind are we talking about? Infused coffees as well as really
Mm.
good naturals and washed,
Mm.
86s, or
Yeah.
are we like what kind of specialty
Uh-huh.
coffee are we talking about?
So yeah, for with Edda Space, a lot of the coffee that I have is 84 plus, I tried
Washed
getting a 90
naturals?
plus before. Oh yeah, I have a honey processed washed naturals. I have Colombian fermented strawberries.
Right.
So I have a variety
Mm-hmm.
because the idea is not only what I like. I mean, I love like washed, like simple,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to get coffee that I can share, and it's like a dictionary of flavors.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have a lot of cards explaining everything about the coffee, the origin, the farmers, and whatnot. Um, so I would explain as well to people. Like, I do take my time. Like if I'm behind the bar, you're there half a day, just
Mm-hmm.
discussing coffee, talking about coffee, trying. I love to share with people. So some people that would come say, I would like coffee, but I know this is a specialty coffee shop, but I really don't want acidic coffee, we don't like acidic coffee. I was like, okay, but do you understand the term acidic coffee? Like, we've had acidic coffee. I was like, okay, so I would really brew another acidic, like a washed coffee, and they would try to be like, oh, this is so nice. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, so this is considered acidic. So their terminology and
Yeah.
understanding of what, over extracted, under extracted, roasted, under roasted, underdeveloped. So it's all kind of a bit like,
Mm.
still not around. And I don't think it's only in Lebanon. It's like, across,
It's
but it's
everywhere. It's
just,
even here in
yeah,
Australia.
yeah. It's just really like understanding and sitting and having that talk with the guests,
Yeah.
So I would, so yeah, I sometimes I get coffee that I don't like because it's really like, and people would love it.
Yeah.
Um, and I love sharing other coffee. So every time I go to coffee festivals, I would buy a bag of coffee that I really like, and I would try and like have it as a guest, filter or espresso. So I really try and do that, but I can't do that all the time because I really can't just like order from outside and
No.
have it. There's no way I
Not
could
with
sell it,
and
Yeah. So
not with the
this is
currency the way that it is, right?
exactly. So this is a challenge that for me, like, it's not there because honestly, like, not only, I want to source the coffee with my partner who does the sourcing for me and roast. Shout out to Elias, by the way. Elias has been a very dear, he's a very dear friend and super, super like supportive. I really don't think I would
Nice.
have, opened if it wasn't for him, really. Like he's been super generous with everything he gives Edda. So, so I wanted to do my own thing with the coffee, but also really have other guest roasters. But I'm not able to do so at the moment.
Mm.
I
And I
try,
guess
but not all the time.
that's the hard part as we look at heading into the next episode, because in the next episode we're going to talk about the specialty coffee consumer in Lebanon. But the interesting thing about being a business owner in an environment that has hyperinflation is you can't really run the business that you want to run. You can't provide the experience that you want to provide for the consumer. You can't give them the variety of access to a whole bunch of different coffees that you might want to, being a specialty coffee shop. You are shackled by the economic and political environment that's around you, right?
Yeah, but Lee, like what's super I mean, I'm not surprised, but the community knows that, because they're facing the same issue at their shops or in their daily
in their
lives
home.
or like, and they're so empathetic about it and they're so like encouraging and, and this is so important and it's amazing, because they know that it's hard, so things somehow becomes, a bit more nicer, I guess.
Nice. Well, let's explore in the next episode. I want to dig deeper into like how the consumers are approaching coffee in Lebanon. So let's take a look at that. All right, everyone. See you in the next episode. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, friends. There are 2 ways you can support this podcast. Firstly, become a paid member of our YouTube channel. Secondly, you can join our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video before you leave and check the show notes for more information. Now, this is what you should check out next.